My name is Dr. Richardson, and Georgette. I am a pediatric psychologist here that works in children's. And it's an honor to be here at the 20th conference and to meet with all of you and to have dinner with all of you. It's great to be in community. Today, what I'm hoping to talk about is a little bit similar to my talk last year. Um, First, just letting you all know why in the world would anyone need a health psychologist? What do I help with? What do I do? I talk to their children, youth, and their families to give an overall look, an overall picture into mental health. I can provide brief targeted intervention as well as helping with local resources in the area, especially just like this, finding community. Um, some things that I typically see might be the emotional reaction after getting a new diagnosis or changing health, as well as if people need help, assistance on how do I throw this into my everyday routine? How do I overcome side effects that might be going on? Um, as well as being able to help promote healthy behaviors. We don't realize how much sleep can help us, or if we need to learn how to drink more water than even what our body wants us to have. So today we'll kind of talk about the purpose of emotions, describing what they are, how to find balance with them, how to do some regular self-care things that can be difficult to help prevent emergencies. And then really getting into some interventions that I share with everyone that I work with. That's mindfulness, validation and acceptance, which are what are the reactions and the responses that I want to hear from the people that support me, social connection, and then I'll take any questions that you all may have. The purpose of emotions. Many of my youth, my young people go, why do I have these emotions? I wish there was an on and off switch that I can just turn them off. They're not quite sure what they do for me. And a lot of times they make my life harder. And so I start by talking about why do we have emotions? They can motivate us to action. Help us try again, especially if we lose at a game and we want to try again because we want to make sure we overcome it. If we see someone that's hurting, crying, they communicate to other people. And they communicate to ourselves, which is a large part of what I do, and to help with families and their young people that they have understand what emotions are communicating to them. One analogy that I use is talking about answering the phone. Our emotions call us on the phone and it rings, 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 but sometimes we hit ignore over and over and over again. But that phone call keeps coming through and it gets louder and it just comes in the middle of the night. It can come when we're walking down the hallway. It's a sunny day, but for some reason, that phone call keeps ringing, asking you to pick up and to listen in. Describe fear. Fear is often what comes up commonly. It's one of the emotions that helps keep us safe and protected as humans. It tries to let us know if to be scared or fearful if we're newly diagnosed with a chronic health condition. When our life is threatened, it urges us to run away or to be still, quiet, just as if we want to hide because we sense danger. Anger. Anger is one that comes up very frequently along with fear, oftentimes. If we have an unexpected change that we did not want to happen, if we want to be, oh, everything's different. I don't want this. Oh, we might feel furious. And it might come up when we get correction, feedback, or someone disagrees with us. All of these feelings, these emotions are our body's way to communicate with us. They're just as important as our blood pressure, our temperature, all of those vital signs. It's an important communication to ourselves as well as who we're in relationship with. It's so hard to find balance. It is so hard to find balance, especially when everything around us is not the same. When our we were sailing along, things were smooth, and things get rocky, bleak, or we're going out to a place that we don't know about. How do we find balance during crisis, when we're having our brain and our body are going through these changes, when we're told that we need to drink more water or to drink less water, and our body doesn't quite understand that? We don't understand it. And oftentimes, we're inexperienced because we've never been in this place or this situation. No one has around us has been here before. And that's the power of being here, a part of the conference. There's other people that have been here before. Some stigma or myths that people have with emotions are that emotions are stupid. They don't do anything for you, just ignore them. But all emotions help with understanding your experience. This isn't right. There is nothing correct or wrong about an emotion. An emotion is just what it is, communication that your body is trying to talk to you about. What we learn through working with one another, with families, with children, adolescents, and young adults, is the way we respond. How we pick up the phone to listen to that emotion is what really can get us in trouble, make our situation worse, or our relationships. Just do whatever I feel. My emotion is what it is. If I am angry, it is justified, and no one else can tell me what else is needed. Um, Feelings aren't facts. They tell us something. They're important information, but they're not everything. And yes, we're moved in our emotions and our bodies, our instinct to do certain things, but sometimes they don't match the facts. And where they can also get us in trouble is that sometimes they make our situation worse to treat them as facts. And often in our community, in our world, in our society, emotions are weakness. That's the message that we're told, especially when we get in a situation that rocks our world. We don't know what to make of it. Um, some might learn that emotions are just something you push down, keep going. They're not as important. Just keep going every day. Just be a normal kid, be a young person. But still, those emotions, they're not anything important. It is healthy to tell others how I feel and to recognize how I feel, is a very, very critical step in your mental health journey. Preventing emergencies. There are some very, very essential things that I talk about with others, with young people as well as their families, their caregivers who are going through this experience as much as them, to remember to take care of your sleep and your rest. That's one of the number one ways to experience big emotions, big ups and downs, is not having enough rest. And then sometimes our bodies won't let us rest. Our heads and our hearts are troubled, or maybe medicine, the way that it's having me react, makes it hard for me to get into a rest and digest state for me to relax and sleep. Nutrition and hydration, and even the routines that we keep. Um, and having planned activities, as well as what time will I go to bed, what time will I wake up, all contribute with helping with not only preventing big blowups or periods where you don't feel emotion, you feel more numb, but it'll help your body to know what to expect with what your routine will be every day. Um, this year, I wanted to talk about common questions or concerns that I get from often parents of young people, um, who who just want to understand their loved one, their child. Common questions and concerns that might come up that interfere or change the nature of their relationship. Um, how do I get my child to talk to me? I know that there's something in there. I can see it. How do I pull it out? How do I get in there? How do I just say, or I know they feel like this? One is, what can I do to make them feel better? I just want to take it away. I just want to know what it is that they're feeling because I don't want them to feel this way. I know exactly what my child is going through. Oh, that's one that gets under my young people's skin. And they know their parents there, but this is me, right? This is my experience, and they just don't know all the time. And we disagree about everything. If the sky is blue, they say it's purple. If it's time to brush their teeth, they say no. But if someone else comes and brings it up, it's not a big deal. But we disagree about everything. Um, and so if those are questions or concerns or things that come up frequently, let me know. And we can talk about some of those at the end and some strategies that I use that has really helped improve each person in their family, the young person that might be diagnosed with chronic health, and their parent caregivers who are with them in the battle, help improve that relationship, but more importantly, their understanding of one another. Yes. So, what is mindfulness? We've talked about you've heard meditation be brought up. Um, you've heard of breathing, grounding exercises, counting. But how do you know if you're doing mindfulness? If you have these three elements, you know that you're doing it. Mindfulness is bringing the awareness to the present moment. How many times in life, just even right now in this presentation, are you thinking about what happened before you got here? You're thinking about what happened or what's going to happen in the future. Or how is your body feeling after a wonderful, wonderful lunch where you got to sit and talk and interact with those that bring you happiness? But noticing when awareness changes is the tool, the key to mindfulness. Noticing when you are outside of the present moment and learning how to bring yourself back right here. We observe sensations, urges, and thoughts. We describe without judgment, just describing what it is that's happening. And then we fully participate. When we fully participate, we allow an emotion to have a beginning, middle, and an end. And that often does not happen if we're trying to distance ourselves from emotions or we're so wrapped up in them that we feel them all the time. Mindfulness helps us regulate our emotions. It actually allows you to feel that recharge in the middle of the day. Often, what goes with that coffee, that energy drink, or that sugar rush, it can help you recharge your battery. It allows you to be more kind and gentle with yourselves, especially just describing your experience. Mindfulness helps us to be curious about really strong emotions or just thoughts that might pop up into our head. We honor them and acknowledge them just as thoughts. It improves our concentration and focus. If we know folks who might have ADD, ADHD, this is one of the first skills that I teach is how to be in the present moment when your motor is on the go and running, but how to bring yourself to focus in the moment, to slow things down, and just to be. One of the number one ways that really helps us feel mindful in the present moment when we're experiencing fear, when we are scared, when we are anxious. I'm labeling specific emotions because not all mindfulness strategies work with every emotion. How many people here have heard Whenever you're angry and your favorite team loses a game, or you miss a sale, or a coupon doesn't work, someone tells you, calm down, just breathe. You have the opposite reaction, right? You get more mad. Yes, yes, we have some that know. That's why I label certain emotions that go with certain strategies, because it really does allow you to connect with what your brain is trying to do, which is the opposite. If we are fearful, scared, we want to run away, the number one thing we need to do is breathe. Instinctually, we are not going to think about our breath if we are trying to run and get away from something. So we're going to do the opposite. While we're sitting here, I just want you to get in a comfortable, calm position. Um, Go ahead and rest your hands on your belly, on your stomach, or they can be on your chest. Or for my young ones, I usually say go up by your nose so that they can feel what it's like. But in a place or a position where you can feel where you breathe. For some, it's in their stomachs, and for others, it's in your chest. Once you find that position, I'm going to ask you to close your eyes, or you can lower your eyelids and look down at the floor. And we're going to take a deep breath in and out. And as you return your breathing to just its normal rhythm, you can begin to observe what things feel like around you. You didn't realize what the fabric might be like on your skin, your clothes, your shirt. If things are rough, smooth, or soft. And take a moment just to notice the temperature of your breath going in through your nostrils following your breath in through your nose, in, back out, following your breath in, down through your throat, into your lungs, and back out. And as you bring your awareness back to your seat, back to this room, just noticing what the difference is like in your body, what the chair feels like, the walls, what the ceiling looks like. What do you notice? Very good. It doesn't take much. 1 minute to 3 minutes. One exercise that's more active. One of the hardest things for me to even coming out of that exercise as the person presenting is to get my energy back up. I feel all of my energy come back to me. I often have a harder time raising my voice to speak louder after doing that breathing exercise. And so, one that really helps with my younger folks are folks where things are just spinning out of control. And the thought of closing their eyes or focusing on their breath is too simple. I ask them to ground yourself, which think of a plant or a tree being placed into a hole, into dirt in one spot. So use your five senses to observe what's happening around you. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you feel? What do you smell? And what do you taste? Again, this could be used in the middle of a class, in the middle of a meeting, especially a meeting where we want to speak up, but we don't want to, but we don't want to know what we're going to say. Um, or a meet or a situation where you feel like you're outside of your body. This is a perfect strategy to use during those times. Validation and acceptance. Um, when we talk with one another, especially in times of difficulty, uncertainty, what we say and how we say it matters. Um, Often, when folks have got the worst news of their life, they often say that people say the most inappropriate, mistimed statements to them. Um, and what we talk about in session is that I don't feel validated, which I don't feel heard. My feelings, my thoughts, my actions make sense in a particular situation. This is about the person, how they receive that information. It makes sense. It's accurate. It's acceptable. Validation is also not agreement, though. And then acceptance. If we cannot solve or change how you feel, we have to accept. Um, Validation is often a concept that comes up between parents and their young people, their teens, their tweens, that they just don't get it. They just don't understand, or they're just so angry all the time. We go back to validation. There's a technique and a strategy where often the families that experience a medical emergency, a critical event, often do not share what it was like for them to see their loved one go through that. And often our parents don't hear what it was like for their child to go through that similar event, that same event. And we all have different experiences, and we never have a chance to stop and talk to one another about it. Acceptance is really at the core of a lot of emotional suffering that happens when people are in situations they cannot change. If it's something where you can't change how you feel about it and you cannot solve. You can't take it back. You can't fix it. Acceptance is where we do our work. Suffering is decrease because we finally accept reality as it all is. And experiencing reality for what it is a challenge, especially if this is something that is world changing, something I never wanted and I wish I never had happen to me. Validation, what people say, I just want them to get me. Using the phrase, it makes sense, is the key. I help parents, I help teens even hear their parents by saying, it makes sense that I'm having a hard time concentrating with the news I just received. That makes sense that you feel different and alone. When we're working towards acceptance of a problem, we move ourselves into more of a willingness position with even with our hands and using things within our body to signify that I'm being open, more willing to fully accept what may come and go. Um, some people might have gotten the news and they remember it as one of the worst days of their life. And maybe they're being pulled back there with their thoughts, how it felt when they heard the worst news that they have ever heard. As we move towards, okay, left. Okay. As we move towards acceptance, we are able to help ourselves be pulled out of those worst moments that we've had and felt and move into something new. One of the third pieces that we build from the very beginning is community. One of the most important elements to being able to bounce back from very difficult, life-changing circumstances. Thank you all so much. I don't know if we have time for questions. Um, but as I enjoy coming here, I enjoy coming to the dinner. Thank you so much, Richard and Lynn, for inviting me back. Um, just a moment to hear where people are from, their walks of life, means the world to me, and I really am honored. And I added a survey here to really hear from you all. If you would like any practical workshops as well, that could be an option. Or if you would like to keep it as a presentation, I'll be open to hearing as well.